Welcome back to a special video here on Switch to Linux. And today I just want to say, hey, you know what? Screw you, PayPal. You know, I'm caught up in the midst of the people that PayPal just decided for no real explicable reason to just delete the account. Why? I don't know. What about the couple $100 having there right now? 180 days you might be able to have it. Call them up. Why'd you close it? I don't know. Felt like it. But, you know, get up in the morning and about, what, 8:20 today. So, about 8:20 today. Hello, Thomas Morosky. You can no longer do business with PayPal. After a review, we decided to permanently limit your account as we found potential risk associated with it. You will not be able to conduct any further business using PayPal. If you have money in your account, we will hold it for up to 180 days. After that period, we will email you with information on how to access your funds. We regret any inconvenience this may cause. Very interesting. So what type of high-risk behavior have I done with PayPal? Let's see, I have Think Life Media where people can subscribe to help support the channel. And I have 2 stores hooked up. Now, let me identify 2 potential reasons. Maybe PayPal, I'm wearing the wrong hat. Maybe I should be wearing my tin foil one. That's better. I really think at this point in time, PayPal is just part of the zeitgeist that's simply attempting to track anything and everything we are all doing. Maybe make us part of the pod people where everything is all put together. So starting maybe about a year or so ago, PayPal actually put in a system where they want people to verify their accounts. Like, verify your accounts. And this required sending them either a copy of your government ID, yeah, right, or some other thing to verify your actual address. Now, Switch to Linux is part of the OWIC Publishing LLC. The OWIC Publishing LLC has a post office box. Even I myself, the IRS doesn't reach out to me at a home address. They reach out to me at a post office box. All my business incorporation is at a post office box. So I sent them the information about the post office box. They will not accept that. So basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to get everybody's actually where they live. For what reason? I don't really know. They're actually regulated like a company, not like a bank. And so they seem to want to have as much information about as many people as conceivably possible. I guess maybe there's the end of my rant. There we are. Now in my more serious hat, what were the potential things that could have led to this? Well, I don't know. Maybe one potential issue is they weren't able to verify my actual physical home address. Good luck with that. I just don't think that's exactly really going to happen. And like I said, everything, corporation, everything is all post office box. There is a, quote, mailing address for a registered agent for the LLC, and it's in another city because I use a privacy system in my LLC to do that. I pay a company to keep my personal residence off of corporate LLC because we have this thing called swatting, which is why I do not want any of my real information out there with anybody. Outside of the very highly regulated banking situations that I'm still not completely sure I can trust, but whatever that happens to be. Now, the second factor is we put up a separate web store to sell the book Synaptergy. So Synaptergy is a science fiction novel. Since it doesn't fit the rest of the genre, I did not want to put it necessarily on my Christian store, so I set up a store on Zencart. And I have not figured out why this is, but every single time a sale would go through Zencart, they identified it as a high-risk sale. I don't know why. Everything goes through my basic web store, no problem. Everything goes through Zencart, high-risk sale. In other words, they would lock the money in the account until after the item had actually arrived at its destination. Why is that? I don't know. So enter maybe yesterday where I sold a piece of hardware to somebody. They paid the money on PayPal, and I'm like, hey, that's good. I'll just clear it out in a couple days. Wake up this morning, and now all that money that they gave me is locked into the account for 180 days. So much for using that right now to make some extra payments on some things that I wanted to. Hey, I just can't do that because PayPal's just that kind of way. Now, what does this really cripple what I'm doing over here? Not really, because I always live my philosophy. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is in Ecclesiastes chapter 11. Cast your bread upon the waters, for after many days it will return to you. Do not be sparing. You got to cast 2 or 3, all right? Because what's going on, I kind of butchered half of it. I kept the first couple verses, or first couple lines I memorized. But the idea is you have to diversify. I'm diversifying everything. This is why I put my videos on YouTube and I put my videos on BitChute. This is why I have multiple bank accounts. If they go crazy for some reason, and frankly, I'm not particularly all that controversial, but I'm thinking about becoming so, because holy crap, if you're going to be like playing by the rules as much as conceivably possible, and you still get banned, blocked, and nobody has any ideas why, and you can't fight it, and you can't dispute it, and they simply steal your money from you for 6 months, well, at that point in time, we get to go ahead and do some fun things. So I reached out to the person I purchased that from. We're just going to try and clear all those out. You guys on Think Life Media, let's go ahead and walk through who this is going to affect. First and foremost, I need to shut down the web stores for a brief period of time. I have always been looking at other payment transactions, but they've kind of forced my hand. I'm going to have those stores back up as soon as possible. I have 6 Christian books out there you can buy at ourwalkinchrist.com, and I had to take that web store down. I will be taking down the ZenCart store soon here as well until I add an extra payment method. So as far as supporter stuff, Think Life Media right now is also going to be down. You can still access the site if you have a login, all that. That's no problem. That's not changing at this point in time. But I can't take any more. And you guys who are supporters of this channel who use Think Life Media, from this date forward, the PayPal subscriptions you've been using will stop working. So I won't be getting any future support on those. What I am going to do, nobody's really asked for it yet, but I think I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to create an account on Subscribestar because I realize many of you guys don't like Patreon. And I think Patreon is a giant barge with a hole in the bottom that nobody knows about. I think it might be sinking down a little bit. And I don't want to rely on Patreon. You can still find me on Patreon. I'm not closing the account. If they want to kick me off of that, go for it. But I'm on patreon.com/TOMM. All right. And I'm going to be creating, I think I'm going to be creating a Subscribestar. If I can pull that off today, I will do that and have it for the news tonight. If I don't, then I don't. But, you know, PayPal options are out because, yeah, screw PayPal. They decided to cut off my access, cut off my service for no real reason. No idea why. And so, you know, I guess maybe the moral of the story is, even if you play by the rules, even if you're generally not all that controversial, no warnings, no notices, just wake up in the morning and all the money somebody just gave me for hardware is just gone, tied up. So we'll work on that. But nevertheless, this is kind of me taking a firmer stance. For a while I've been thinking about closing the PayPal account, reopening under the corporate name because it wasn't a PayPal account under the corporation. But you know what? No, I'm just not feeling all that loyal to them. I'm not really interested in giving them any more money. So I'm going to be looking at other options for payments, even if it might cost me a little bit more, because I don't mind paying a little bit more to have better service and to have better companies out there. So for whatever that happens to be worth. Now, the other factor I'm going to mention, I'm going to ask you guys as the viewing audience, I actually have the ability to turn on YouTube subscriptions. Is that worth doing or is that not worth doing? Would you guys use that function, or is that something that you'd rather support off platform because, you know, Google possibly evil? Let me know your thoughts on that one as well. It's something that I really haven't done right now simply because it requires a lot more hands-on stuff than I have time for, but I can make time for it if it's something that people are going to use. Now, the other factor is, let's talk about Think Life Media for a second. It is on WordPress platform, which I have been leaving behind as they have lost their ever-loving mind. They failed to listen to their developers, and they have been doing stupid things lately. And so I've been abandoning that platform on many of my sites. So a couple of my newer sites, Our Walk in Christ has just been redesigned on a different platform. And so I'm leaving WordPress behind. I've always thought about, hey, let's kill Think Life Media. Let's resurrect it in a better platform as a better service. And what I might do with it, I'm thinking about it, is making that an exclusive switch to Linux. So I might even let the name Think Life Media go and just doing a support portal attached directly to Switch to Linux instead. Let me know your thoughts on all that as I'm evaluating things. The problem I had with Think Life Media right now is I have over there the Christian content and the Linux content, and some of you guys are not at all interested in the Christian content. But behind the scenes, and this is something keep an eye on, if you are interested in the Christian stuff, we are launching our publishing company as a full-fledged indie publishing group. And that means that if you are a Christian author, particularly if you're a pastor of a church, I am interested in talking to you about various services we should or could be offering as we are working on these different things. And what I want to do is I want to separate these two out. We're going to create an entire network exclusive to the Christian content over there, and I want to have a separate network exclusive to the Linux content for the Linux people that don't want to hear anything about Jesus. I want to have a place for you guys over there because I recognize that that's the case. What I do want to figure out, though, is a way that if you are interested in both, if you support on one platform, we will give you access to the other. And that's something else that I would like to look in doing. So these are the things and the ideas that I have going forward. They're things I've been working on. So I've been actually working and meeting with some people in business to figure out some of the methods, some of the practices. But the fact is, though, is that PayPal is becoming off the table. There's other options we need to be looking at. There's other ways that we can monetize sites and things. Let me know in the comments. Number one, are you in favor of splitting the two platforms? Number two, are you in favor of just dropping Think Life Media and going to a Linux support and a Christian support as two separate groups? Number three, should I create Subscribestar and or enable the YouTube membership options? These are the things that I would like to know. We'll figure that out later, and I'll figure out how to get the money in and out of there at some point in time. But regardless, that's kind of some of the updates. Lovely morning, just kind of wake up to that. But, you know, surprisingly, I'm kind of prepared for these types of things. In fact, that's something we are building into the Christian Publishing Group, as we are trying to build it from the ground up to hopefully be somewhat cancel-proof, at least going to be a lot harder. So anyway, follow along also on the social media platforms. Particularly, YouTube has been seriously throttling this channel lately. I really don't know why. But if you are subscribed, I mean, if you thought you were subscribed, double check that you are. Check the notification if you want such notifications. I hear about maybe a quarter of you that ask for notifications actually get them. So if you are interested in those notifications, we have accounts on Twitter, on Gab, on Minds. We have one on Mastodon. We are switched to Linux at Fostodon. And I think we have Reddit. I might be missing one down there as well. Links for all the various social media platforms are in the description down below. So with that, guys, thanks for coming along, and we will see you in the next video, and we'll figure out how to manage the supporters going forward. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.